Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street, NOLA, and I am here with my friend Helen, also
Hello.
known as the Crimson Cadaverous, and we are here for our weekly celestial chat update.
Yes.
And we are in the week of 10/24 to 10/31. Holy moly, happy Scorpio season.
Yes,
I've
happy
got
Scorpio
something for you, even though it's not your birthday season.
Oh, okay.
I know. Ta-da!
Yay, Crow Tarot. Now somebody needs to come get a Crow Tarot reading from me.
Yay!
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'd hug, but
Very excited.
we have the camera stationed precariously on a paper cup
Yes.
because I forgot the tripod.
We're
Okay.
just going with it.
Yeah, that's what we
As
do.
we do.
That's what we do. Okay, so let's start the week off. Like we said, Scorpio season started on Sunday, the 23rd.
Yep.
So on Monday, the 24th, the moon will be in Libra.
Yep.
It will be conjunct Mercury.
Yes.
Um,
So talking about our feelings.
Here we go.
Feeling good, talking about our feelings.
Talking about like going into Scorpio season.
Or, yep, going into Scorpio season, going into eclipse season, which
Yep.
is going to start the next day. So,
I'm ready.
yep.
So fucking ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of eclipse season, starting the
Yes,
next day on Tuesday. Yep.
Yep. So of course that's going to be when the sun and the moon line up.
Yes.
That is our new moon, and of course our solar eclipse, because it is on the north node south node axis. This time it's on the south node axis.
It's
Being
a
in
partial.
Yeah, partial because it's not quite right there
Right,
on the south node. So it's a partial eclipse, and it's also going to include Venus still.
Right.
Because Venus met up with the sun officially on Saturday.
Right. That was our Venus star point.
Yep.
That we talked about.
And they're staying close to each other within like 1 degree of each other for a few days, leading up into this eclipse that
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
And so, did Venus move into Scorpio first, then the sun?
I think it was like they were within a few minutes of each other.
Okay.
So I think it might have been the sun
First.
right beforehand,
Okay.
but a couple minutes later it was
Okay.
basically Venus.
Yeah.
So very close to one another.
Okay.
But so going into this eclipse, you know, they're going to still be very close to one another. And of course, the moon is going to meet up as well.
Yep.
So we have the moon, the sun, and Venus all really close to one another. And so whatever we're feeling with this solar eclipse, the energy of Venus is basically going to amplify it.
Okay, great. And our partial solar eclipse is when the sun is between the moon and the earth?
I believe so.
I believe so too.
Yes,
okay.
that sounds
Yep,
right.
Or the moon. Damn it. Anyway, I looked at it up. I just don't remember. It's neither here nor there. I'll talk more about it when I do my Scorpio
There we go.
solar. That was me leading into that. Yeah. Try to make it safe there. Anyway. Okay. So, is there anything else you want to touch on about that?
Only other thing I wanted to say is solar eclipses are about things beginning, but this one hits the south node, and the south node's about things we're leaving behind.
Yep.
So there might be an air of beginning, leaving something behind.
I'm ready for it.
So it's like, you know, maybe it's like that you have to put in the notice of your apartment. You might not be leaving right away, but it's like the first thing you need to do to move.
Okay, yeah, and that does still kind of lead up or coincide with that idea that 4 years ago when Venus was going over this territory, but she was retrograde. She wasn't in her full self. Like she came in, she kind of saw the territory, and now she's back 4 years later, and the notice is really going through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now she's at her full Venus, and now she's ready to make money moves.
Yep.
As they say.
Yes.
Okay, so Wednesday the moon will be in Scorpio. I just like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
What would you like to say? You want to talk about the square?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we've got, actually, I guess we've got a T-square going on again. We've
Okay.
got a lot of these T-squares.
God,
And again,
yeah.
T-squares are just, they're just pushing us to take action.
Yeah.
That's all that is. It presents a challenge. We accept the challenge and we move forward.
Right.
But with this one, it's the moon in Scorpio squaring the north node and Uranus in Taurus, and then also Saturn in Aquarius.
Right.
So again, when we have those T-squares, we talk about how we break the tension. The way we break the tension is basically looking at if this was a grand cross, you know, so what would be a cross from, like, say, in this case, Saturn and Aquarius, that would be Leo energy.
Yep.
That's the energy we throw at a T-square as like almost like
Well,
the way
this-
of kind of breaking the tension.
Right, but this is the energy we throw at this particular
Right,
T-square.
this particular one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, and you guys remember Leo is Helen?
Yep,
Okay.
it's
yep.
the heart.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And it's a fire. It's the consciousness of fire, right? So it is how do we break this tension up? It's like, it's inspiring. And you've got that Saturn in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the mind, right? But so it's like these new ideas. You know, Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is also fixed. Taurus is very creative.
Yeah.
And Uranus is that rebellion, right? And so how do we do that? And how we do that with like, in ways that inspire us, in ways that inspire others. You know, it doesn't have to be like, fire.
Right.
It's the consciousness of fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, you know, if there's any challenges with that T-square, if you take a heart-centered approach,
Right.
that's the best way of approaching it.
And it's a good time to do that now because Venus is in her fullness.
Yes.
Right? And so that goes back to that too. That definitely ties in there as well.
A full heart.
A full heart, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to talk about anything else on Wednesday?
I think we're good on Wednesday. We can probably skip off to Thursday.
Okay, the moon's still in Scorpio.
Yes.
And then the moon will move into Sagittarius.
Yes.
Okay.
And then same day we have Mercury squaring off with Pluto, which I think is important because, of course, Scorpio energy is connected with Pluto.
Pluto rules
Scorpio.
Okay.
Yep. So anything that kind of came up during that eclipse with the help of Mercury.
Bye. It's good to see you. Okay.
With the help of Mercury, we might be able to actually talk about those things that came up. Talk about those things that were kind of like, I'm thinking about changing this. I'm thinking about starting changing it.
Yeah, you know my mind's racing right now.
Right.
With all
But
these
we're actually
things.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about it.
Yeah.
At that point.
Okay. Yep. Mercury in Libra. Mercury is communication. Libra is ruled by Venus, right? So, and it's squaring that Pluto in Capricorn.
Yes.
Capricorn is work. Pluto is death. Yeah, this is like just talking to me. Just say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so friends. So just to know, like again, with squares, it can be kind of tensiony. It
Yes.
could kind of be kind of chess matchy. But the idea is, how do you go higher?
Right.
How do you go higher? So
How do you break the tension? But in this case, how do you break the tension with love? You know, throwing like a heart-centered love energy at it.
not throwing a punch.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So on Friday, the moon is in Sagittarius.
Yep.
It squares Neptune and Pisces.
Yes. Very
Okay.
dreamy energy. But we also have another dreamy energy kind of going on that day with Jupiter retrograde re-entering Pisces. So Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces.
Yes.
So it feels at home there. But of course, Pisces is a very spiritual sign. So it's kind of more of like, you know, Sagittarius is already kind of like the leader, the teacher. But then with Pisces, it's more of a spiritual leader. But since we're slipping back into those final degrees of Pisces, it's almost like self-taught spiritual leader kind of energy.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be your own spiritual leader as opposed to waiting for someone else to tell you how to feel?
Right. And because Jupiter is retrograde.
Yes.
Right. So it is about going over things.
Right? Introspection, reflection.
And those last degrees are points of mastery. And so, yeah, so Jupiter being like, hey, coming back at you, Pisces. Pisces is like, what's up?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, Jupiter? You're going backwards. So, yep, Jupiter is the planet of faith. Now, my friend's going to start his motorcycle. I don't know if it's going to blow us out or not. We'll see. Okay. But we're going to move on.
Yeah, we're just adapting.
Yep. Okay.
we do.
So on the 29th,
Not too
it's
bad.
not too bad.
Yeah.
The 29th, the moon is still in Sagittarius.
Yep.
Okay. And then let's just talk about, I think, Mercury entering Scorpio.
Yes.
So as we said a couple days ago, Mercury was in Libra, squaring
Yep.
Pluto on Thursday. And then Saturday, Mercury moves out of Libra into Scorpio.
Right. So Mercury was already kind of getting a little bit taste of that Scorpio-esque energy with, you know, that meet up with Pluto. But now we're really getting into it. So Scorpio obviously is the energy of the depths. And sometimes, you know, that could be like secrets, lies, all those types of things that we
Right.
obviously want to dispel. And Mercury being how we think and how we communicate allows us to kind of bring those things up, bring it to our mind, but also bring it out.
Right. And you guys have got to remember Scorpio is in the lunar south node, and the planets or the signs that are in the south node of the lunar south node is what we're releasing.
Yes.
Right? So like you said, secrecy and things like that. Mercury enters in there. And I just want to say this too, I guess because we talked about Jupiter, RX, and Pisces.
Yes.
Mercury was the messenger of the gods. Right? And so Mercury, when the gods needed messages sent between each other and to the humans, they sent Mercury.
Yep.
Right? So I just really think that ties back into that idea that you were saying, with Jupiter, RX, and Pisces, and us going over this idea of like spiritual learning or like bringing things in through Pisces. You know, Mercury enters Scorpio, and Scorpio is that death. And so, death and deaths, right? But it's still that idea that we can talk about these things that we maybe thought were secretive,
taboo.
Right? Or taboo.
I think
right?
taboo is a great word for that because it's like connected very much with Scorpio.
Yes, yes. Maybe not moving forward.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out.
That's the thing. Maybe it's cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, and so use that energy of Jupiter too. Yeah, use that energy of Jupiter. That's RX and Pisces.
Like the self-taught spiritual leader to guide yourself through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, to me, it's still about listening to yourself, right? Your intuition is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys, this is a good week. I think. And I know we're not up to Sunday yet, but I'm just going to say, like what I said in one of my videos, that I really feel like this Scorpio season is going to be a really good Scorpio season. Right? We just got binged, freedom. Okay.
Yes.
On the 30th, oh my God. It's so crazy. It's already like
I know.
Samhain and, you know, Halloween and All Saints Day. You know, the veil is getting thin this week, which is so, it also lines up very beautifully, but I'll wrap it up because time. Okay, so on Sunday, the moon moves into Capricorn. Okay,
and back to business.
Right, and then Mars stations retrograde in Gemini.
Yes.
And you've been talking about Mars being in Gemini and stationing for a couple weeks
and this kind of like, you know, long drawn out square with Neptune, like kind of, you know, making things a little murky.
Yeah.
I think the purpose specifically of this Mars retrograde, because it's again in the sign of Gemini, Gemini just wants to keep going, keep going, keep going. Mars retrograde wants us to slow down. And I think we're just learning it is okay to slow down. It is okay that things don't happen like instant gratification, all of that.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, as hard as that is for us in this world that we live in,
right.
You know, until very recently, things took generations to change.
It's true.
And we might have to remember some of that during this time period.
No, I think you're hitting the nail on the head on a lot of those things. Like I said, I did a bunch of readings today, and I kept telling people Mars is going into Gemini, and it's retrograde. So this is a good time to keep talking to yourself, flesh things out, get more information. I was gonna tie it back to like Mercury and Scorpio, but I lost my train of thought. So good news for you guys. Okay, but yeah. Especially with that moon in Capricorn, you know, Capricorn's work, the moon's our intuition. Yeah. You know, so it goes into like you said, Gemini, go, 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 but now our go is, it's unpacking its bags. Right. Right, okay, so it's time to start tying all the skies together and like thinking about how you can maybe improve on a situation or see how to get there, because I was going to say, I noticed a lot of times, like, we already have the answer. And I think you and I kind of talked about it last week, too.
It's almost like we have to grow into the answer.
Yeah. Because I also saw, you know, just like with, like, environmental stuff, you know, like, we kind of already had it figured out. You know?
Yep.
And so, but it was interesting because with this Aquarius, I'm always like, oh, new answers and bringing in the future. But like a lot of the answers might have already be here.
Right.
So maybe that Mars in Gemini for a couple months retrograde will help us reintegrate this stuff.
Yes.
I think
slow us down a little bit so we can kind of see the big picture.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I think that's the week, you guys.
That's the week.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're firmly in eclipse season, so
I keep saying I'm ready. We'll see next week.
We'll see.
We'll see how I fared.
Yeah.
Next week. Right now, I'm feeling, I don't want to say cocky, but just ready.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. All right. I think so too. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me and Helen via our Instagrams or YouTube channels. And I hope you guys have a great eclipse week.
Yes.
And I hope you guys, I guess we'll see them on Halloween.
Yeah.
Or the day after. So if you guys are celebrating, you know, All Saints Day, all those things, have a blessed time with your loved ones and your altars. And we will see you guys soon.